For most of 2026, fans kept asking the same question. Where is Dolly Parton? The answer, it turns out, was far heavier than anyone imagined, and now the world knows why she'd gone so quiet. It started with a loss nobody saw coming, becoming the loss that changed everything. In March 2025, Carl Dean, her husband of nearly 60 years, passed away at 82. Dolly had built her entire adult life around that marriage, one of the most private and enduring relationships in country music, and losing him hit harder than she initially let on. She kept working, kept smiling in public, kept insisting she was fine. But behind the scenes, something was already wearing her down. By September 2025, she made the surprising announcement that her long-awaited Las Vegas residency, originally set for December, was being pushed back to September 2026. She cited health issues needing attention without elaborating much further. Fans speculated. She brushed it off with her usual humor, posting online that she ain't dead yet. For a while, that reassurance held. Months passed with barely a public appearance. Then, in March 2026, she finally returned to the stage, not for a concert, but to open Dollywood's 41st season. Standing in front of the crowd she'd built her legacy around, she admitted in her own words that she'd gotten worn down and worn out, caught between grieving Carl and dealing with what she called a few little health issues. She joked about Carl waiting for her at the pearly gates, needing time to rebuild herself, spiritually, emotionally, and physically. It read at the time like a woman fighting her way back. But the fight was harder than the public update let on. As the year continued, her health kept slipping. On August 14th, she was unable to attend the opening of a new attraction at her own theme park, a rare absence for someone who almost never missed a Dollywood milestone. Just a week later, in an interview with People, she admitted she'd been having what she called hard times with her health, struggles she said she hadn't even had the space to properly address while still grieving Carl. Then came the news nobody was ready for. On August 25, 2026, her nephew Brian Seaver announced that Dolly Parton had died at 80, following what her team described as a brief battle with cancer. She passed at the Vanderbilt Ingram Cancer Center, surrounded by loved ones. A statement released shortly after described her as having faced the illness bravely, right up until the very end. For someone who spent decades as one of the most beloved, most visible figures in American music, the quiet of her final year now makes a painful kind of sense. The postponed shows, the missed appearances, the vague health updates, all of it was a woman quietly fighting something far more serious than she was letting on, while still trying to protect the joy she'd always given her fans. She leaves behind an extraordinary legacy, decades of music, a theme park that became a second home to millions, and a charity, the Imagination Library, that put books in the hands of children around the world. But she also leaves behind the image of her final year, one shaped less by spotlight and more by grief, illness, and quiet resilience carried mostly out of view. Dolly Parton spent a lifetime giving the world her voice. In the end, she spent her last months simply trying to hold on to herself. If Dolly Parton's story moved you, let us know in the comments. And subscribe for more stories behind the biggest names in music.